I am disappointed in the Attorney General. He should not have recused himself almost immediately after he took office. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me prior to taking office, and I would have quite simply picked somebody else.
Welcome back to The World Over. That was President Trump expressing his displeasure with Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Now, despite being among the president's earliest and most loyal supporters, the former senator from Alabama has run afoul of the president in the midst of the Russian collusion investigation. How wise is this approach, and what are the legal ramifications? To discuss it all, we're joined by attorney, retired Harvard law professor, and author of the forthcoming book, Trumped Up: How the Politicization of Political Differences Endangers Democracy. Please welcome via Skype from upstate New York, Alan Dershowitz. Thank you for being with us.
Nice to be on. Thank you.
Look, I want to start with the opening question. Should the president have called Jeff Sessions out in this public way, on Twitter or elsewhere, and does it help further his agenda, in your opinion?
Well, 2 points. First, presidents and attorneys general are often in conflict because the job of the attorney general is often to investigate the president.
Right.
The attorney general is not the president's lawyer. He's the lawyer for the people of the United States. Second, President Trump has a point. He has a point about Sessions. Sessions should have told him about the fact that he might have to recuse himself from the Russian investigation. That really was his obligation before he accepted the job as Attorney General. You can easily understand why a president wouldn't want to accept as an attorney general somebody who would immediately be out of the picture and recuse himself. And I think the president's right. Had Sessions told him that he would be recused from the Russian investigation, he probably would have said, look, let's find you another cabinet position, maybe, Secretary of the Interior or something like that, take care of the national parks. But I want an attorney general who's 24/7 able to be in charge of all the investigation. He has a point.
Yeah. Attorney General Sessions told the AP that he will serve as long as Trump wants him to, and that they share a harmony of values. Here's the question. The president can fire Sessions. Obviously, he serves at the pleasure of the president. But what does he get out of it? Surely firing Sessions and picking somebody who's going to fire Mueller is not going to help this president.
Well, I think there are 2 points. Number one, obviously, the president would like Sessions to resign.
Right.
Sessions doesn't want to resign. The president doesn't want to fire Sessions. That's number one. So we have a little bit of a dance, a ballet, with each side sending messages to the other. Second, whoever the attorney general is probably should not fire Mueller and probably would not fire Mueller. I do think that if a person was asked to become attorney general and to promise that he would fire Mueller, you're not going to get a lot of very able people accepting that job. And if Mueller is fired, they'll just appoint somebody else. And, I've said to people, if you're innocent, Mueller is a good guy to have being investigating you. If you're guilty, not so much. My own view is that Donald Trump is not guilty, that he has not committed any crimes. And I think he should be relatively confident that Mueller is going to say that. Now, we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
We don't know what other issues that are not part of the original mandate may come up. Remember that when President Clinton was investigated by a special prosecutor, they were investigating Whitewater, and they came up with Monica Lewinsky.
Right. Ken Starr.
And so you never know what will turn up. That's why I don't generally like special prosecutors or special counsel, because they're like Ahab chasing the whale in Moby Dick. You got to get the whale. I mean, if you're going to spend tens of millions of dollars on an investigation of a particular person or issue and come up with nothing, you will be seen as a failure, not by decent people in the bar, but by, I think, the American public.
Okay, I want to tie all of this in. I mean, you mentioned the special prosecutor. Let's move for a moment to the president's critique of Jeff Sessions. He says he didn't recuse himself and he isn't spending enough time investigating the intel leaks from various agencies in the government or Hillary Clinton's alleged misdeeds. Does he have a point?
No, No, he has a point about the leaks. I think the leaks are very serious, and they do endanger our national security, and they ought to be investigated, particularly the Washington Post leak that related to the national security issue. But as far as investigating Hillary Clinton, no. It's the same allegation. She didn't commit any crimes, and neither did he. And let's not criminalize political differences.
Now, what of the charges of collusion themselves? Now, that is not a legal term, incidentally, which I know you've pointed out in article after article. But between the Russians and the Trump campaign, do you see any criminality that warranted the appointment of this special prosecutor, of Robert Mueller?
Absolutely not. What I saw was a justification for appointing a nonpartisan, independent commission like the 9/11 Commission to look into the entire issue of the relationship between Russia and American elections. That's a big issue, and it affects Democrats as well as Republicans. But looking at the criminal part of it is going to hide from the public the most interesting parts of it, because everything happens behind closed doors of grand jury. So I think it was the wrong mechanism for looking at a serious problem.
What do you make of the Don Trump Jr. emails? I mean, they're clearly peddling official information or supposedly info from official sources on the opponent. Is that meeting illegal? Attending such a meeting illegal?
No, not even a close question. You're allowed to use information obtained by other people. The New York Times did it with Manning and with Snowden, with Ellsberg, with the Pentagon Papers. There's nothing illegal about a private citizen attending a meeting trying to get dirt on his opponent.
Even a campaign doing so?
Even a campaign doing so, especially a campaign, because a campaign has First Amendment rights, special First Amendment rights like a newspaper.
I want to ask you, what if, and now this is pure conjecture on my part and anybody else's, what if the Trump campaign did coordinate the release of information that was already in the possession of another entity, whether it be Russia, another country, or an independent group? Is there anything illegal about that?
No, still not a crime. The only thing that would be a crime is if the campaign or anybody in the campaign said to the Russians, look, I want you to hack the Democratic National Committee. Or here's the people who you should hack. Or here's the code that will get you into. If you in any way participate or conspire with somebody to commit the crime of hacking, you've committed the crime. But if you simply use the fruits of that material, you haven't committed the crime. Look, the New York Times every day uses material that was illegally leaked to it. And sometimes they even encourage leakers to bring them more material, and they're protected by the First Amendment, and so is a campaign.
So do you think the president and the administration would be in the clear about shutting down this investigation, given what you just said?
No, I don't think you shut down an investigation just because you're innocent. You know, you can, I think it's better to let the investigation run its course. First of all, it will sound like you're guilty if you're closing down the investigation. That's why I think it was a mistake for President Trump to say, look, please don't investigate my family's finances. That's like when the police come to the door of your house with a search warrant, and you say, oh, search my bedroom, search my bathroom, but don't go into the basement. Don't go into the basement. I don't want you down there. That's the first place you're going to go and look.
Right. Before I let you go, I want to tie all of this to your forthcoming book, Trumped Up. Tell us what the heart of it is.
Look, I'm a liberal Democrat. I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Right.
What liberal Democrats should be doing is pointing out the problems, the political problems of the current administration and trying to get them defeated in the by-elections and the general elections, not trying to create crime out of innocent conduct.
Very good. Alan Dershowitz, I thank you so much for being here. We will check in with you in the days ahead and look forward to the book.
Thank you so much.